a little bit of a light week because you are finishing up your LMS assignment where you're creating two LMSs. Just some clarification on that. There is a Dropbox for your LMSs, but there's really nothing to drop in there. So what you're going to have to do for most LMSs is to add me as a student. Go ahead and use my South Dakota State email as my notification, and that should work. There are some LMS systems that you develop on your own, and those you may need to add something to your Dropbox. But again, it's there simply as a placeholder. Don't feel like you have to put something there, but I should get an email from everybody throughout the week telling me that I've been added to your class. Play this a little bit by ear. There's some learning curve to actually adding a student to an LMS. So if it doesn't come through the first time, I'll shoot you an email and we'll get it all straightened out, all right? So week 7 makes you go back and use Symbaloo again. If you remember from the first time you used Symbaloo, I challenged you all to use it for 21 days in a row. But I truly believe in the benefits of Symbaloo, in the being able to share out information to students in such an easy and concise and focused way. But this week we're going to deal with apps. And apps are pretty much replacing those Web 2.0 tools that were so popular a couple, 2 or 3 or 10 years ago. And apps are everywhere. They're on your phones, they're on your computers, they're on your tablets. They are the easy to access information. They're small programs. They're usually very tiny in size, but they do an awful lot. I'm going to show you a couple of apps that I have here on my computer. Again, I use Chrome as my go-to browser, and I can get all the apps that I want to here on this site. So when I want to go to any of these, when I'm on my computer here, oops, sorry about that. The way you add them on Chrome, if you notice, I've got 3 pages of apps, right? Most of that is because I've got very big icon sizes, right? But you go to the web store down here in the bottom right hand corner, and you can just simply do a search. So if I wanted an app for my students that was a calculator, I can type in calculator and it will give me extensions to work with. The themes are like those background colors and so forth. And here are the apps that are available through Chrome. Now, here's the deal with this. Remember, I don't pay for these things. I have a couple of apps on my iPad that I actually pay for, but for the most part, I just like the free ones. So I would go to Add to Chrome. It's going to check. It wants to know whether or not it can add it. I'm going to add that, and then it's going to show up in my apps. And usually I would do a little bit of checking on this. This is a 3.5 star. It's not that big of a deal. Looks like a pretty simple calculator. Looks like something my students might be able to use. So here's what I would do with this then. So I want to be able to put all of my apps together into a location for my kids to be able to find. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right here. So when I go back to my apps. Now I could do a lot of different things. Wow, okay, so I'm shopping on Hy-Vee for you, all right? Couple of different things here that I can do. I could take a picture of this and add it as the picture for my calculator, or I could go back to my web store where it was. And I can go down here and I can rate it, which is going to take me to another location, right? And I can grab the information from here, which is going to be that link right there. I can add that to a Symbaloo product, to a tile, and then my students, after the fact, will have access to that Symbaloo web mix that has all of my apps to it. So let's say you are a second grade teacher, right? Reading tools, right? That's a really important skill for them to deal with, right? There are apps on here. So you've got a Reading Core 5, you've got Reading Records, you've got lots of different apps that you can go and work with. I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite apps on here, just because I think it might help you in focusing on how it is that you go about searching for particular things. You'll notice that most of these right here are um, a lot of those apps that were in my original Symbaloo. I really like Padlet. Padlet is not a new program. It's been around for a really long time. And again, I usually use either my Google or my Facebook. If Google is available, I use my Google. If Facebook is the only one that's there, I will use that. I'm going to allow that, and it'll do that every time that I do that. So Padlet allows students to activate, and then they can um, add to this page. And the only thing they have to do to add to this page is to double click, and then they can add something. So Romeo marries Juliet, and then they can write something, or they could record something, or take a video of themselves, or add a picture, or whatnot. So these were all done by students, and I've got it organized here. There's a over here has all of the different postings that you can do, different things that you can do with it. And then you've got settings for the whole thing. So I've got this streaming right now. Kids really like freeform. I want to keep working, so I have to go down here to the bottom in order to save that. Here's the address that will be there. You can tag things for it, and then after you make any changes, you have to save it. But the kids really like the freeform, and I'll show you why here. Because really it's just literally everywhere they want to be. And so you can move these around. You can set up in your settings for Padlet to things have to be approved before they can be posted. There's lots of options here. It's basically like a bulletin board where the kids can post little tidbits of information. A couple of my other favorite apps here. I really like, I gotta find it here for you. All right, there you go. I really like MindMup, and this is basically a mapping system. So basically I can add, oops, see what's happening here. Okay, I want to do a new map. Okay, and I want to edit here, so I'm going to put computers. And from there, I want to add to it. Oh, it's not wanting me to do what I want to do here. Okay, so I'm going to insert a child, which is going to let me put that. And I also want to insert another child, which is not going to be in the right spot. It's not letting me move these, and that's kind of frustrating me right now. So I need to click there. I need to insert a child. There we go, Mac. And as soon as I click on there, then I want to insert a sibling. So they're putting them equally. Oops. And it's basically a graphic organizer for the kids. I like it. You can publish it to a lot of different places, which is, you know, that is helpful in this day and age. They don't have to necessarily take a picture or send it. Okay. I also really like, a lot of these are text to speech type things, and they will insert right on your stuff. This one right here, you can take information, you can copy and paste it from anywhere, and then you can put it in here, and you can play. I think you'll be able to hear this.
You can copy, paste, and edit text here. You can also upload your own Word and PDF documents. Natural Reader is a professional text-to-speech program that converts.
And it makes it easily available. You can choose lots of different voices, and you can choose the speed. So, you know, that's fairly good speed right there. This is what it would sound like.
Natural Reader is a professional text-to-speech program that converts any written text into spoken word.
So here's the deal with apps. When you make your Symbaloo, You can use anything off the computer as an app. You can use your iPad and your phones, and then make a Symbaloo that can link me to information about that particular app. And I'm going to leave that kind of up to you as to how that gets done. It may be a direct link to the app where I can download it, or it might be to a review or something along those lines. The other thing that you need to do this week is you need to fill out an organizer for each of those apps that you are doing. And again, it's going to have you go to my content here, right? And run week 7, all right? This one right here, the app assign. And if you go to the app assign, it does the same thing. It's just going to have you break it down and analyze it a little bit. So when you're looking at platform, what's the best platform for that app that you're giving me? Come up with a reason that you would use it in the classroom, evaluate it, and then tell me ease of use here. Was it easy to use? Some of you may want to come up with a ranking on that. So ease of use 1 through 10. 1 was easy, 10 was difficult, those kinds of things. Giving you a couple of different apps over here if you wanted to go look at those. Those are ones that we like to use. Okay. The other thing that you need to do this week is you do have a discussion discussing is there a place in your classroom for mobile apps. And again, the biggest problem that I've had so far with the discussion posts is use some of those readings that you are doing ahead of time. Those are available in content, and help support those ideas that you've got going on. It sounds like a lot, but I think the Symbaloo will go rather quickly. And your LMS is due Friday. Your Symbaloo app web mix is due Friday, and the discussion posts are due Friday. So plan your time. Enjoy your week. I wish to say that this was actually spring, but it's not. We're going to get snow again. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. All right, you guys have a nice week.